What is up, guys? King of Underworld back at you with another What If Deku at the Pass of Swampthing, Part 6. And, well, before I get into this, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who voted on the poll, as it's now been officially decided that the 2K special is going to be What If Deku Had Time Manipulation. And yeah, I do appreciate everybody voting, commenting, and, well, supporting this. And I hope everybody enjoys the 2K special when it comes out, as we are only just 60 away. So, yeah, very exciting times we are living in. So, without any further ado, let's get into the recap real quick. So, last part. Deku had, well, won the sports festival after taking down Bakugo and Todoroki. Well, that was the part before, but you know what I mean. And this was quite the event. So, Sue, after he had won the festival, had said if he could go to her house, as, well, Deku didn't decline. In fact, he jumped at the opportunity. So he went over, brought some gifts, and eventually they had some bedtime sparring, which turned out to be because Sue had finally lost control. However, due to this, she had seemed to calm down, and it seemed to not be running as rampant. As for now, it seems to have disappeared entirely. For now. But anyway, back into the story. So, well, as the sports festival had passed, Azoa the next week had, well, plopped down a giant little board on his desk as he says, "Alright, now listen up." As he points to the board that now displays all the votes that have been cast in by all the heroes watching the sports festival. As the most recommendations, the most offers were placed towards, obviously, the top three, being Bakugo, Deku, and Todoroki. Deku had placed on top. Well, as Ozawa says, I want you to look through your suggestions and recommendations to go forward, as you need to choose which hero you think would give you the best instructions and mentorship. This does not mean your favorite heroes, so please keep that in mind. Do what makes you better in the end, not what makes you the bigger fan. Am I clear while staring directly and almost entirely at Minato? They all say yes, sir. As Sue just comes up and says, "Well, Midoriya, who are you gonna go with?" As, well, you said, "Oh, one of my more relatable heroes." "And who's that?" Kamui Woods. I know he's a newer hero on the scene, however, he does show quite some good promise, as well as his fighting style is quite unique. Maybe I can adapt it to be, well, adapt it to help my close range combat as well as my long range combat as well. As he says, that's actually a pretty good idea, and you having very similar quirks does definitely help. Says, yeah, I thought the same. I think I already know I think we already know what my answer's gonna be. Yeah, well, it's good to see that. As he puts in the form request, as he accepts Kamui Woods' offer. Then, then midnight comes in after Azawa says, "Well, first, before we get into actually putting your submissions into the system, we'll need to register under a future hero name." People start getting excited about the prospect of, well, hero names. as everybody was just freaking out, thinking and deciding between themselves. And it's like, seeing as I cannot deal with all your shit, I would get pro on this, literally. Says you may come in now. As Midnight bursts through the door, striding her stuff as she walks to the front of the class and says, "Hello, Class 1A. As you know, I'm the R-rated hero Midnight, and local expert of all things hero history. I've been brought in today to help you get a trendy name that'll get your name put on the front page and everybody will adore you." People are getting more excited about the prospect of naming their name themselves, and it's like, I'll give you students a few minutes to work out your own names, and then come back to me after you've done. As after about 5 minutes have passed, well, the first one comes up, which being Aoyama giving his terrible name, "I can't stop it twinkling." Yes, that shitty one. As everybody just physically and mentally face palms after that, well, Sue decides to go up after seeing everybody in such bad spirits, as she says, "Well, my name's not too creative. However, it's one that me and my friends in middle school used to think of a lot, and we thought it sounded appropriate." And says, "The seasonal hero, Froppy." As everybody just starts saying, "Finally, something normal." So, and Midnight was absolutely gushing over how cute their name sounded. And, well, everybody agreed it was a very nice name. Definitely better than Aoyama's. As the next one to go up and answer, well, Midnight, as it was Deku. The people were actually quite interested to see what his hero name would be. As he puts on the board, I'll be I'll be the green hero, Swampthing. And it's like, well, it does work well, considering your powers and all, but doesn't it sound a bit intimidating? Well, here's the thing, I don't know what else I'm gonna shout if I ever get taken over. You know what? You have a fair point then. I won't hold that to you. It was either that or the Avatar of Green, and I think one sounds a lot better than the other. Yeah, let's go with that one. As the rest of them sorted their names like usual in canon, Deku had finished signing all the paperwork out. As well, the next week he starts his internship. As he goes into he goes into the office the office address that was given to him. As he's greeted by Kamui Woods, and says, "Izuku Midori, I presume?" Yes. Um, it's nice to meet Mr. Kamui." As well, he says, no need to be so polite. After all, I'm the one that called you here today. Your powers are absolutely insane. Jaw-dropping and stunning, to say the least. You are what I look for in people, who are willing to fight for their cause and also throw in a bit of flair while they're at it. Says, well, thank you, but flair wasn't exactly what I was going for. I know, just something I like to say to people. Dose them off a bit. Anyway, I should let you know. I chose you because, well, your quirk and mine are very similar, and I want to pass down what I can to you. As it seems that you have your very own way of fighting, which is very good. However, it has one clear weakness. Well, you seem to do pretty well in this regard, but it's something that could be improved upon. Your close range capabilities. It seems you can enter that massive form, however, it seems to have drain a lot of energy and it can go very berserk with enough damage. Yes, that's true. See, I want to train you in the art of using the lacquer chain prisms, and my fighting style included. As Deku just said, well, this thing, if you do teach me this, I can make it even stronger. Stronger? How? Well, the thing that was touched on in the sports festival, whenever it went too far into, was I was able to fuse together and create new plants. Do you mean like selective plant breeding, creating a new species altogether? Yes, except it's a bit different. I don't make one with the possibilities. I fuse their, I fuse them, as it seems that it creates a new life. Entirely. It's what I put on my whips and on my shield to make them so durable. I wondered. I couldn't think there'd be a tree in the world that would be that strong. Unless that tree is me, of course. He just starts laughing out loud as Deku decides and is like, Ugh. At least you keep the wood on yourself very well varnished and protected. As he just says, wait, how do you know? It's like, it might be a part of you, but it's still living and I can still hear it. Hear it? Everything plant-based / have any sort of life in it, I can hear. They speak to me. Age, birth, everything. So that's quite a terrifying ability. I'm not gonna lie. Says, yeah, well, my ability's never exactly been one for the faint of heart. As it seems to be a lot more dangerous things out in the world. As, well, Cowboy Woods decides to drop the chatter and just says, alright, now that I got you here, let's go on some patrols. Right now? Well, there's nothing else, nothing really much I can teach you, besides how to patrol an area very quickly. As you've seen, I use my quirk to swing from rooftop to rooftop. You have a similar ability, however it's not refined yet. I want to get you to practice doing this, and use that as your main method of transportation. Says, oh, sir, I never showed anybody this, but I can make wings. Yes, I know it's good and wait, what? You can make wings? And said, it never came up and I never felt the need to use them. What about the obstacle race and the sports festival? I completely forgot to use them. So you're telling me you had wings this entire time, you just forget to use them? Well, is there any other way I can say this without you saying being dumbfounded? No, there is absolutely not. I see. Well then, he says, show me. As he sprouts, appear to be saplings at first, as he started to form into a, well, pattern of leaf wings. As the leaves start to grow denser and denser, as a rigid wooden curve was used as the spine of the wings, being used, as the bone to support it and hold all the leaves together. As he started flapping, them, as he just was flying. It's like, my god, is there anything you can't do? I mean, I can't bring things back from the dead, I guess? Anyway, over the next, about half a week, well, I'd say Monday to Thursday, they've been going around the regular area, patrolling the sky, the land, and anything else they can find in the alleyways of the darkness itself. The terrific criminals, as well, they did spot a few, about 6 in total, trying to do a robbery. Just a classic B&E. As well, Kamui decided to see what Deku could do, as he just snaps his fingers and starts creating spores that start paralyzing them. As he says, well, aren't you going to tie them up? And bold of you to assume they'll be even able to walk at this point. Wait, I thought you said they paralyze. Yeah, they do. Wait, don't tell me you actually permanently paralyzed them. What? No. They're going to be knocked out for at least, like, a few hours. God. I'm not going to mistreat my plants to create a high enough dose for that. This ain't some sort of slaughterhouse. As Kamui just rolls his eyes and is like, uh-huh. You have a weird sense of value. Yeah, well, if trees beetle, then I would happily be a tree. I'm sure you would be. I'm sure you would be. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. We're heading over to Hosu tomorrow. As with Deku just says, why Hosu? It's like, well, I got called out to try and fill in for some vacant hero positions over there since the recent, well, killings. Killings? Wait, are you talking about the, the Stain killer? Or the hero killer Stain? Yeah, that one. Due to him causing such a ruckus, all the heroes have been trying to leave that area as quickly as possible. And because of that, they need some people to fill in to try and do patrols. Or until they can find better replacements. I see. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. I'll make sure to bring some extra supplies. Extra? Well, since you said we're going to go on patrols in an area that's a bit more, well, rampant due to the lack of heroes at the moment, I thought I might bring some rare varieties. Ah, your plants. I see no reason why not. So, make sure you got all your things prepared and, well, we'll meet at the train station at about 4 o'clock tomorrow. As they part ways and then they meet each other the next day at 4. Let's get on the train, and as they were just talking to each other, as well, they managed to get onto the topic about people that they know about. As Conway starts saying, "By any chance, are you related to that girl with the vines for hair?" Said, I'm her older brother. Uh, by like 1 minute, but still, nonetheless. And says, "Oh, you were twins, I say." Yeah, but we seem to not be identical when it comes to quirks, which I find funny. So, what do you want to know? Nothing. I was just, well, thinking slash laughing about how your personalities are so much different from each other's. From what I caught a glimpse of, I'm kind of glad I didn't well, send her an invite, as tempted as I was. Yeah, her maiden attitude is a bit off-putting for the first time, let alone the 17,000 slash millionth time. So, is there is there an area in particular that we're taking care of? Not really. We're just gonna walk around the city for a bit. Whatever we find, we find. Whatever we capture, we report. The same old business. Nothing more, nothing less. As riding along the train, it starts saying, we're about. Hello, folks. We're about 1 hour outside of Hosu. Please remain seated until told that it is safe to do so. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride, but there does seem to be something wrong with the tracks. As you start saying this, the lights start flickering a bit, and the train collapses to the platform. As these are a bullet train that runs off magnets, so it's crashed into the ground, not being able to move an inch. As both Deku and Kamui have started to try and figure out what the hell is going on. As they see in front of them a giant bang as a Nomu comes into the side of the wall. Nomu just tried to punch at the civilians, however, Kamui managed to use his wooden tie to grab him out the way, while also leaving a little decoy for him to punch. Nomu was a bit too tough for Kamui to handle, especially for his bulk and size. So Deku says, "So move out the way, I got this. I can take care of these things." As he just grabs him by the face, he says, "You're mine now." As it was grabbing at Deku's arms, then it just falls and drops its arms, becoming limp almost. Under his control. Wrapped so tightly around his finger he doesn't know what he's doing or what's right and wrong. So he just says, "Sir, you focus on getting the civilians out. I'll make sure this thing gets off and try and find all the other ones." As you can see a few of them flying around in the air, as well as a few of them running down the ground, coming out of the fires. So, Kamui manages to patch up the hole in the train, and the power comes back on around about the same time, as he starts showing everybody to the train station and telling them where to get off and where to go. Deku, since he had kicked the gnome out the train down, he took over it, making it his little slave like he did with the one at the USJ. And this time it's going to be a much more useful slave. So he goes around and activates his leaf wing, flying above the city, finding all the Nomus, as he finds about 4 in total, including one that can fly. As he does the same thing for the first Nomu to the rest of them, grabbing their heads and turning them into his slaves by using the cordyceps fungus. He's now got about a total of 4 under his control. And he says, "Well, this is a good one now." Alright. He lands to the ground, then just goes and starts sensing. As he can feel all the plants around him, as to say, "Help! There's someone trapped over here." And starts basically revealing locations for the people that's hidden. As Deku decides to do something that would stop his plan from being basically overturned. He gathers all the Nomus around him as he puts his hand to his chest as vines start spreading out all over it, as they create miniature avatars of, they look like miniature replications of Swampthing. However, the actual Swampthing is much bigger than Nomu, standing over about 15 feet tall, I'd say. Quite a domineering beast. Since he's now got these little mini avatars, people are less likely to be afraid. This is some of those creatures that are running amok, as as people being captured, tended to first aid using since he can control them like puppets, he can use the puppets to do first aid. So he's got about 4 of them going out and rescuing civilians, quite efficiently, healing their wounds and then showing them where to go. As one plant calls out, distress, distress, as it was cut, as Deku immediately flies over to it within about 10 seconds, and then drops down to the ground to see what was causing it distress. As people don't know that when ground-slash plants, get cut, they release a little pheromone that lets them know that they're distressed. As he lands down on top of the plant, he sees that he comes face to face with the hero killer Stain, and a familiar sight and one not so familiar. The not so familiar one was native, lying on the ground unconscious and bleeding. The one he did know was his foolish class president, Ida. He kinda just was like, you let this happen. Such an idiot. You went over for your own personal revenge. This is unacceptable. As then barks up by saying, what's unacceptable is a lot of you phony heroes keep showing up. Says I wasn't talking to you. As he creates I'll call it the Nettleberry Thorn Whip, as it makes the Blackberry Whip plus the Nettle Tree, which causes paralysis. As he flicks the whip that strikes, that strikes at Stain on the hand, causing his hand to go numb and him to be unable to hold something properly in his right hand. Yeah, they were going. He was going a bit on guard after this, as he was going, my hand, I can't move it. What the hell did you do, kid? I just did what you did to the others, onto me. How do you know? You see, you may not know it, but plants have eyes and ears. And the one that's covered in your blood knows all about you. I had enough joking around, hero killer. Oh, I'm just getting worked up. He starts rushing towards Deku and like, you made a poor choice. As he starts growing arbor out from his arms, coating it like thick platings, alternating the different patterns of wood. First would be a softwood, second would be a hardwood. Revolving that around until it had the ultimate strength density. He did so, and it worked. He caught Stain's blade right as he was swinging down on him. As he basically spins his arms around in a circular motion, as he's now disarmed of his blade. However, he still just is by himself. And this caught Stain off by surprise as Deku started wrapping his knuckles around with thorns. It's like, see, this is what I call the Himalayan beatdown. As he wraps the vines down, as he starts punching Stain in the face and gut, as he starts bleeding very badly. As these little needles are quite sharp and quite long, about an inch long each. Sorry about that, I spaced out for a second. So as he starts pounding away, he says, had enough yet? He says, no, fake hero. I'll never had enough until society's changed. As he keeps punching him down, down, down. He says, had enough yet. Never. Though, Deku decides to give him one last treatment, and it says, I'll give you something special just for the last one. As he blows on the knuckles, they seem to have a weird sheen to them now. As he punches directly into Stain's face, as it starts burning, as he starts screaming out in pain. It's like, ah! It burns! It burns so badly! See that? That is the price you pay for killing innocent lives. That burning pain. I modified it. It will never go away. It shall never leave you so long as you exist. So long as you live, you shall know that pain. As he basically altered the Gimpy Gimpy's pain, instead of being lasting up to from 2 weeks to 2 years, makes it last indefinitely. He's now tied up. He ties him up in a bunch of vines as he throws him out to the middle of the street, as there are no gnomes for the heroes to take care of, as they're wondering where they actually disappeared to. As Deku just summons them to him. It's like, the gnomes! Wait, they're not attacking. Wait. Then they look at, then one hero looks at, Deku specifically. Endeavor, as he's only seen a creature that looked exactly like it. Like him, from somewhere once before. The school festival. As it looked like little miniature clones of the Swampthing. Says, you're controlling them. Yeah, and since I can control them, they can be an extension of my own body. Therefore, I'm able to communicate with them, tell them where to go, and show them everything around. I was flying around using my wings, so that I could discover all the hostages and people that was stuck inside their buildings. And I freed them. Then I would get them down to a safe location and heal them using some medicine that they grow off their bodies. And that's just what I've been doing. So there shouldn't be any more of these things. My scouts have not seen any more of them, and neither have I from the eye above. Well, Endeavor says, thank you. Without you here, this probably would have been a lot larger than it should have been. It's going would start swinging down, so it lands in front of Deku and's like, hey, alright? I heard there was an attack. I came as soon as I can. As he just points to Stain. He's like, I see you've already got it taken care of. Well, I'll leave it there. For now. Which is exactly where I'll leave it off for this part. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? No, I'm just kidding. So, after this incident, everybody is put away. As Deku is finishing up his internship with Kamui Woods. As, he was wondering what he should do. As he gets asked on, so he just says, well, would you like to go on another date? Says, sure, I need something to take my mind off of all the events that have happened recently. Says, well, how about Saturday then? Well, then the two go out. Instead, this time, Deku went on his kind of date, as he prepared a little picnic basket as they went to the botanical gardens. As he would start showing Sue around and introducing him to all his favorite flowers and special different types of plants. As there was one flower she's really entranced with. He says, do you like that one? Yeah, it's so gorgeous. It's so pretty. Well, Often oriental lilies are like that. Oriental lily? That's the name of this. A bright orange, beautiful lily. Says, I know, they're so beautiful. While she was turning around, he decides to put a little sneaky in. She said, well, now he knows what flower she likes. He grabs a little piece of it as he starts growing them out and creating a whole bouquet. As he ties them all together using some twine and some wrapping paper. Some biodegradable wrapping paper because he's a green person after all. And puts into a lovely bouquet. As well, his family also runs as a side flower shop. However, it's not the main business, but he knows how to do a nice, elegant bouquet. As she turns back and sees a giant bouquet of those lilies. It says, yeah, but yeah. So that's way more pretty than those flowers will ever be. And won't wilt away. Right. Because I don't see your beauty as being fleeting anytime soon. She hugs and kisses him as he says, hold on, better not get too crazy there. It's like, I'm not. In fact, after what happened the other week, it seems that it seemed to have gone for now. Says, well, that's good news. As well, he takes out his little picnic basket he had made up, and, well, he started unpacking it as his little sandwiches, fruits, salads, all mixed in there. As, well, they happened to see somebody there. It was a bunch of girls that recognized, Sui and Deku. As it turns out that these girls were from Class 1B, as one of them started heading around the corner, and then realized that Momo was with them. As well, they wave out they wave out to the two as they walk up and says, "I am sorry. I'm sorry. I hope we're not interrupting anything." Says, yeah, but I don't think we mind, do we?" As Deku just says, "Nope, we don't. How are you?" As all the girls that were um in class 1B, so Setsuna, Kinako, Kendo, uh, Yuki. I think that's the name. No. Yeah, no, I can't remember her name now. Yuki, I think. Yuki Koda. Yeah, that's the one. All those girls plus Momo happened to be at the gardens as they say, well, well, um, why was your group here today? Well, you see, Momo's family, Momo had suggested this thing as we said we couldn't go because we were a bit too poor to go. As well, Momo offered to pay for us. As it'd be a nice thing to do with a bunch of friends and try and get along with the other classes. Especially after the sports festival. Says, I see. How did you guys get in here? It must have been quite expensive, wouldn't it? As, well, Izuku kind of drops bit of a bomb on them. As he said, why would it cost me anything? Don't tell me you snuck in here. What? No. My family owns this place. As they were going, what? Including Momo as well, because she was quite shocked. Says, yeah, this is all under the Midoriya Enterprises. It's just rebranded to my dad's brothers. Well, I don't know my dad's brother's name. So my uncle actually owns this place. However, it's under the family's. He's actually just. It's in his name. However, it runs directly through my parents and, well, our company. We thought it'd be a good idea to go into marketing and business. That's why this place opened up, and it seemed to be a very big success. And actually, a lot of these plants that were imported were planted by me, and well, I grew them up here to try and keep some endangered species growing. As everybody, including Sue, was shocked, however, Sue was a little less hit hard by it because, well, she had knew his family was kinda rich and big, as they own the entire farming and local fruit produce enterprises, as well as a lot of the a lot of well, they just own a lot of stuff. Is what I'm trying to get at. As there's even some florists under their brand. However, there wasn't too many. As well, then being the nosy one she is, Satsuna comes out and asks, it's like, "Say, were you two on a date?" And well, Kendo says, "That's a bit rude," and says, "Well, Deku just grabs Sue by the shoulder and holds her close, and's like, well, yes, in fact, we actually are. We were just about to have lunch. Well, would you care to join us?" Sue was a bit flustered, and, well, Setsuna just laughs and's like, "Man, you're a bold one, aren't you?" "And what of it?" "Nothing. I can just see why you have a bit of charm on you. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that Sue's lucky. I'm pretty sure we'd get snatched up by somebody else if she hadn't been paying attention." Well, the way we kind of got into a relationship was a bit weird at first. However, it kind of developed into something, well, more as time went on. More? I don't quite understand. It's a long story and it's not one that people need to hear. Anyway, so do you want to join us or not? I brought plenty because I was going to send some home for our family as well. However, I can always do that another time. As everybody, well, they just said, sure, why not? As it was around lunchtime and they were going to go to the cafe that was there, which had all their produce. But they decided, let's try some of his cooking. It's like, don't hate on my cooking too badly. I'm not as good as my mum, but I'm certainly better than my dad. As they all just grab a sandwich and some fruit and just take one big bite as their eyes light up. Basically, just imagine a food gasm from Food Wars. That is what they're having just from tasting that. Yeah. So they're all just admiring how amazing this food is and how lovely it tastes. And like, well, we use a lot of the ingredients are produced by us, so they're as fresh as possible. As everybody's just going absolutely insane. It's like, and they're just saying, a few of them are actually defeated, especially I think Yuki and Kendo. And it's like, how are you? How do you know how to be more of a woman than we do? I can't even cook, and I'm not even good at cleaning. I don't even have anything that can be useful. All I'm good for is fighting. Says, well, I never meant to get into cooking. It's just something that I developed from my mom. I liked plants as well, so I didn't like seeing food go to waste, so I thought I'd try and give it the best send-off I possibly could. And since it was the natural food order for it to be consumed, I thought it'd be the best way just to learn how to do it the best way. As, well, they all just sit there and start talking, and continue talking for a bit. And, yeah, this is where I'm going to leave off part 6 to What If Deku had the powers of something. Yeah, so I just want to say sorry if I was a bit aloof during the recording. If there's a little pause or gap in it, I am very sorry. It's like very tiring for today because I had like a sports tournament, so I am just like struggling to stay awake right now. I'm trying to get this rolled out because I don't want to miss a day me behind because nobody wants to do an extra work on a Friday. And yeah. But anyway, other than that, I just want to say thank you guys very much for watching all the way to the end. If you made it here, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. I've been the King of Underworld, and peace. Have a good one, guys.